In 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated his vision of making India a $5 trillion economy.
$5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी इसका सपना संजोया है.
By 2022, India surpassed UK to become the world's fifth largest economy. And major global institutions such as IMF and World Bank have been consistently projecting India to be the world's fastest growing major economy. And at this growth rate, the question is not, will India become a $5 trillion economy, but when will India become a $5 trillion economy? And also, when will India surpass Germany and Japan to become the world's third largest economy? In this video, we will use the actual GDP and growth rate projections from reputed institutions such as IMF and World Bank to estimate when will India hit the $5 trillion economy mark and when will India surpass Germany and Japan to become the world's third largest economy. Towards the end of the video, I will share a very interesting fact that most people often don't talk about. My name is Kanak and welcome back to my channel. Through this channel, I share valuable information from the world of finance, economics, and investing. As of 2023, the total nominal GDP of India stood at about $3.7 trillion, which is roughly about 20% higher than that of UK, but 15% lower than that of Germany and 30% lower than that of Japan. Now, for India to catch up to the economic size of Germany and Japan, it has to grow at a faster pace than these economies. So, let us start with comparing the projected growth rates for India, Germany, and Japan. As you can see, from 2024 to 2028, India is expected to grow slightly above 6% annual growth rate. However, to be not overly optimistic about India, we will use 6% as a baseline growth rate for India over the coming decade. Now, looking at the projected growth rate for Japan, we see that from 2024 to 2028, Japan's growth rate is expected to be less than 1%. And again, to be not overly optimistic about India, we will use 1% as the growth rate for Japan. Finally, looking at the projected growth rates for Germany, we can see that Germany is expected to grow anywhere between 1% and 2%. And again, to be not overly optimistic, we will use 2% as the baseline growth rate for Germany over the coming decade. Now that we have the GDP and the growth rate data for all these three countries, let us start with comparing the projected GDP of India with Germany. As you can see, starting with $3.7 trillion of economy in 2023, India will surpass Germany in 2027. The total economic size of India will reach $4.7 trillion in 2027, about 0.2% higher than that of Germany. Now, the answer to the second question, which is when will India hit the $5 trillion economy mark? At 6% growth rate, India will reach the $5 trillion economy mark in 2028. So, in 2028 is when India will achieve Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision. It is important to note that we have made conservative assumptions in our growth projections. So, India can potentially achieve these targets sooner than 2027 and sooner than 2028. Now, let's answer the final question. When will India surpass Japan to become the world's third largest economy? At 6% growth rate for India and 1% growth rate for Japan, India will surpass Japan's economy in 2030 to become the world's third largest economy. By 2028, India will hit the $5 trillion mark, and by 2030, India will surpass Japan to become the world's third largest economy. Now I will share an interesting fact that most people often don't talk about. India is already the world's third largest economy in purchasing power parity terms. So what is purchasing power parity terms? The purchasing power parity GDP is a better indicator of a nation's GDP because it takes into consideration the cost of living factor. To put it in simple terms, what $1 can buy you in the US, with the same $1, you can buy almost 3 times the same number of things in a country like India. In PPP terms, India is already world's third largest economy ahead of Japan and Germany. I hope you found this video insightful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.